Hello, everyone. This is Brandon here. I am walking around the White Dome trailhead, and sorry for the shitty camera work, but I'm just kind of strolling around looking at shit in St. George again. It's because I have nothing better to do with my fucking life. Oh, there we go, swearing again. Nothing to do better with my life than fart around desolate areas with no life whatsoever, and kind of just getting out of Las Vegas for a weekend because I have been dealing with a little bit much lately. An old camping buddy of mine, old famous drag queen by the name of Kitty Litter, passed away. So, unfortunate circumstances. When you drink and party and carry on like she did, that's how you expire, unfortunately. Yeah, your liver drops out your butt. But she had a good run, but health problems caught up. And so I'm just away from Vegas trying to decompress. Make another crappy YouTube video for everybody to gawk at and vomit a little bit while they're watching, because it's so bad. But also, I've driven by here plenty of times with the parents, and gorgeous views. It's one thing you have to give St. George. It never disappoints. It's the highway there. And then if we pan around, I'm assuming that that's the White Dome over there. And a bit far of a walk. I'm not going to walk that far. I'm just here to poke my nose around and look at things like the desert soil and how it does its thing. Now, this top layer is actually interesting. If it takes decades to do this, and if you disturb it, it takes quite a few years to reset itself. So that's why they tell you to stay on these trails. If you look at it up close, it's mostly lichen and salts and strata, you know. Anyway, so back to talking about my friends in Vegas. And one of the things they don't tell you about living there is that you can develop a bit of a toxic lifestyle. And by toxic, I mean you go out and you start drinking and partying, and then the next thing you know, the sun's coming up again, and you're walking out into those doors of the bar or the casino. It's happened to everybody that lives there. If you do that thing, if you're a bit of a stricter fortitude, yeah, you'll be okay. If you don't gamble and you don't drink and you're in it for other things, it's not a bad place to live. But most people come to Las Vegas because it's, as the parents were saying, it's the city of last hope in some resorts. They want to feed that dollar in and make their money back. But there's this little pamphlet that they have in all of the locations, or should have, and it's called When the Fun Stops. And basically, when you have given your last dime and you still continue to pull out more, you can't afford rent, or in some bartenders takes, they will tell you these patrons stop tipping. They're no longer good patrons. Like their behavior changes, and they're just in it to gamble and win that money back because the house is in their favor, which is not the truth. No such thing in Vegas. um I don't gamble either because I just don't have the luck. I can play Keno sometimes, but for the most part, um, you know, it's just I'd rather throw my money at the cocktails, and even that's getting old after being there for 15 years. I know there's some people that are gonna laugh. We've been there for 20 or 30, and the girl it shows. Um, you look like a stretched out leather couch sitting in one of the hotel lobbies. Or it's that stretched out character on Doctor Who. They wheel this hooker in that's been basically a stretched out face. Um, if Joan Rivers were alive, she'd claim it was her. But um, if you watch Doctor Who, you probably know what I'm talking about. But anyways, yeah, it takes a toll on you. It can be very toxic. And friends, it's really cut and dry, kind of transactional in a lot of ways. And sometimes, even if you develop close friendships, you those people just come and go. I mean, I suppose that's just everywhere, but in particular, it's just very hard to make friends in that city. Uh, which is why, even after all those years that I've been there and I've had a good time, and I really do have some good friends there, I think I'm ready to hit the road and do van life. And we'll give it a try. If I don't like it, um, I can always slap down a tiny house like tough tough shed conversion, or like something that they those houses that you buy on Scamazon for like $20,000, and they come out and they literally fold the walls out, and you just set up shop. And I'm all for homesteading. Like, I don't want neighbors. Like, I live in an apartment complex in central Las Vegas, and I hear my neighbors every single day, and every time an ambulance gets upset or there's a car wreck right there at Charleston and whatever near Rainbow, it's a hot mess express, just a nightmare to live there. Um, I mean, it's super convenient because I am in the middle of everything. The city is at my fingertips. I can go anywhere outside of Henderson. Henderson is still 30 minutes to an hour away, depending on the traffic. Um, so it is very convenient, and you have every shopping need you could ever want. It's right there. Even fashion show, if you're willing to brave the crappy parts of the strip just to get your little tendrils into the Venetian or something, is right there. But um, I'm over it. I think it's time for a change. I've been living in the same place for 8 years, and it's time to do something new. And I'm thinking the outdoors is a good place to start. And places like this, I love the desert. It is very, very interesting to me. You know what? This always happens. This always happens. I bring my little drone out that follows me around. One of those, it wasn't cheap. Well, I don't suppose drones are ever cheap unless you swipe them off somebody. But the little thing follows you around with its AI, you know. And I bring it out here to use it the first time in years since I was in Tacopa, which I'm still editing that video because it's about as disjointed as my life. But can't use it because it's just breezy enough. And that's my shit luck, I suppose. Again, just breezy enough to mess my life up. It's beautiful out here. Um, I know I say that everywhere I go. It's like Mark Dave with his Burning Man videos. Would you look at the sky? I do every day. Surprised I don't have eye damage. It's the cataracts. So another thing that people don't mention about living in Las Vegas, um, and they really should when they talk about the town, is how different it is. Just from a first person perspective. About 10 to 15 years ago, when I moved back, when I moved to a completely different town, you know, things were affordable, rent was affordable. I guess that's nationwide now. That's no surprise. But on the same note, food and groceries and all that, gas especially. Gas is never cheap in Nevada, but uh, a lot of the things that made Vegas a chintzy, interesting place to go to on the weekends or whenever are gone. They're replaced by uh, how do I put this? They're replaced by corporate interests and gouging because they know that they can make money off of just about everything there, and nobody's going to question them. Whereas before we had, Vegas was famous for its 99 shrimp cocktails and cheap buffets. The buffets were everywhere. They're all but gone. You only see buffets in just a handful of places anymore. Like they're still at Caesar's, their famous Bacchanal buffet, um, and I believe there's a couple more in the large casinos, probably in the Vidara or you know whatever that large monstrosity is, city center. But the point is that stuff like that is gone. The Vegas that people knew 10 to 15 years ago does not exist anymore. And it's been replaced by price gouging resort fees, charged parking, another thing, and also just bad behavior. Is I mean, Vegas is where you go to be bad, but you know, I don't exactly want a busker following me after I took a picture with they happen to be in the background demanding $100 from me. Like that's not how it works, honey. Put your fake feathers back on or shove them up your you know where, because no one's ain't giving you crap, especially me. Um, anyways, there's one other issue, like the whole cannabis thing. I don't have any problem with cannabis at all. I occasionally do an edible here and there, but everywhere you go in in that town, it just smells like weed. If you go over the overpass, over by DI, Desert Inn, which is an over and then underpass, it takes you, basically circumvents the strip if you're in that area, which is the best way to go. And there's a particular area where everything just smells like weed. I mean, after a while, it just kind of wears on you, I suppose. Maybe it wears on me, but that's my only other bitch. Other than the freaky traffic, like everybody drives like it's a drawn together episode. If you watched that one where Ling Ling turns the key and the space station crashes into him, yeah, it's kind of like that. Um, anyways, enough bitching about Las Vegas. Like I said, I'm here in St. George visiting the family because they're getting ready to move to Texas, and they've decided they're going to move to a community outside of San Antonio. It's an old German settlement by the name of New Braunfels, and that whole area is just covered in greenery. It's a very interesting place. Old, uh, what is it, the Schlitterbahn water park is there, and I believe every summer they have the Guadalupe inner tube, where everybody just gets in their inner tube and floats down the river. And I lived there for about 5 years in San Antonio area, and it was wonderful. I even worked for the Alamo for about 9 months, and that was an adventure too. I actually do have a valid ghost story from there. Um, you know, the Alamo does not have a basement, but its gift shop does, and that's where they hang out. So, anyways, I'm watching this Yahoo down by my car. Oh, good, he's walking. St. George, you got to say a lot of things about it, but in general, people are pretty nice and well behaved. I mean, you have your bad elements like anywhere, but these people are usually in bed by 8, I would assume. There's really nothing to do here. There is, I think, one state liquor store, and you buy liquor in other places, but they have last call here, which what's that? Like I said, 6 in the morning, walking out of the casino doors, and that sun hits you. You're like, why is the moon so bright? So at this point, I have to say I'm aware of the audio issue, and it is the old microphone, and I'm not really sure how to correct it. But thank you for tolerating it. Okay, here we are. The car is all the way down there. Here she is, Bluella DeVille. Forever, how much longer I have her. So I'm getting ready to get either a Sprinter van or a Class B. I'm not decided yet. This is the rest of the hike, which I'm gonna let the camera lens do the walking. Here she is. Oh, look at that. How neat. Oh my God, we're all the way up there. How cool. Living vicariously. Because my fat ass is not walking up that. It's been lovely, but I'm going to turn around now and gossip my way back to the car. So that, in that direction, that's desert color out here in St. George. And just a little bit further over to the right, I guess in this direction is where the parents live. But look at these views. Stunning. It's very big on pioneer culture and lore out here. Can you imagine what those people did when they got out here? Like, oh my God, there's nothing out here. Let's form a society. This is great. Oh, look, ancient lava flows too, if you're into geology. Hot and runny. I don't know what's happening over there with that development. Looks like all warehouses and crap. But if you're on your way to Zion, you follow the crappy development all the way there. That was my last video. Check it out. Me being snarky with the deer and the other wildlife. Got snow. There's snow all the way over there. Snow in the southwest. Everything's drier than my sex life at the moment. But look, there's snow. So, anyways, like I was saying, I'm on my way back to my car now. Vegas has been an adventure, and I love a lot of people there. I'm always going to go back. It will always be my home. I love Nevada. It's probably the best state I've ever lived in. And, New Mexico is wonderful. Texas has its own charm to it, too, despite how back-asswards it could be sometimes with their nonsense. And, but it's time to hit the road and go seek some adventure. I got to go up to Oregon and go see some friends out there, which, by the way, that coastline, if you've never been to Cannon Beach, probably one of the most breathtaking places I've ever been. And I've been landlocked most of my life, so when I see water, I'm like, ooh, let's go bathing. Soil the waters with her cruddy self. So the next stop we're going to is this ghost town. I didn't know it was actually here. And that's what I get for not looking on freaking Google Maps. I see dinosaur tracks or prints. I'm like, oh my God, let's go check that out, because paleontology has always been one of my loves. I've always found it to be truly interesting to know what the Earth was like in its prehistory. And, if you think it's 6,000 years old, that's only because you're 6,000 years old, Blanche. So get with it and figure your life out. Go look at some fossils and then touch some grass. And don't touch your grass while you're touching the fossils. That's illegal in public. Anyway, tangent aside, we're headed to the ghost town. So probably not going to be talking a whole lot during that. So you're just going to get some cheesy voice overlays and some B-roll and some side snark, whatever the hell else I can cough up. But should be fun. I love ghost towns. I haven't been to one since I went to Calico, just outside of Barstow. And if you know what that is, I guess all the children that live in the area, I was told in Vegas or Victorville, whatever, Southern California, they all bust them out there so they can be like, ooh, look at all these pioneers in mining. It's I went there. I thought it was interesting. There's supposed to be several paranormal things that happen out there, and the prison and the schoolhouse, among other things. I love paranormal crap too, even though it's really hard to prove that stuff exists. But I think there's enough anecdotal evidence to, support that Mima is haunting your kitchen because you didn't cook her potato salad recipe correctly. Now you're going to be punished. But The Alamo too, that had a ghost story that was worth it. But we'll get into that another time. When I make it to the Alamo, I will tell my story. And hopefully somewhere around Halloween, because I sure as hell am not driving through Texas heat in an RV. It's just the worst. All right, we are rounding the bend. I made it up here, even though I'm about 40 pounds, 50 pounds overweight. Never met a Chinese buffet I couldn't turn down. I kind of halfway apologize about the swearing, but Las Vegas is one of the most potty mouth places on earth to live. So, you know, we say bad words. We say bad words a lot. If you don't like it, we'll say more bad words. Then you can eat it and start saying bad words with us. So, but again, second or third YouTube video, I'll try to tamp it down in the future. Don't know if I'm going to, but we'll find out. I'm walking back up to where my car, these yahoos in a 4Runner are probably like, who the fuck is that weirdo? Or, who the hell is that weirdo doing with a selfie stick? He can shove it up his hoo-ha. No, I'm not a bottom anymore, so no thank you. So just pulled up to the Silver Reef Ghost Town and Museum. Go walk around and take a look.
Onto a cottonwood tree about a block away and finished the job. In 1879, there was a devastating fire at Silver Reef that destroyed a third of the business district. No one knows how the fire started, but a bucket brigade finally made a stand at the Wells Fargo building, hoping that because it was made of rock, they would be able to hold the fire there. Sure enough, their strategy worked. The fire was stopped at the Wells Fargo, and the rest of the town was saved. The hardy citizens quickly rebuilt it. After Silver Reef is abandoned, Stampede, one of the residents,
These cool ruins. If you look around the place, there's just ruins all over it. This seems like it was I guess a fire had swept through here in 1879 and destroyed most of the town. And it was stopped where the Wells Fargo building now sits. You probably heard from the audio that was attached to this previous clip, but never been this far out into rural Utah. What a beautiful area. This whole freaking state is beautiful. As per usual, like the rest of Utah, you can hear gunfire somewhere in the background. So, much like Nevada, the place is rich in silver deposits, and apparently a lot was found in this area. They, back in the 1860s, struck a nice vein of it, and hence you have all this happening. I don't know if you can see in the background. There's several structures. And whatever this is cool. I love old structures from the 1800s. It's just fascinating to me, but dare not get near them because I have no luck, which is why, again, I do not gamble because I suck at it. Well, Ghost Town wouldn't be complete without visiting the jail. I gotta say, they've really done a good job of preserving this town. Just like Calico and the others. Very well done. Utah is very protective of its history. Realized I've been filming the entire time with a dirty lens, so I hope you enjoyed this YouTube video filmed with dirty lens technology. And thanks for joining me on my little crusade today to Leeds, Utah, and Silver Reef Ghost Town. And I'll see you again next time.